What is up, people? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more CSGO news. A sucky time for me to be alive. That's a really weird way to start an episode, but I really do hope you guys all enjoy bringing you CSGO news, hopefully here daily. And what we're talking about today, it's a sucky topic. As a news reporter, it is my job to clarify things and actually bring to your attention things that should or should not be happening, things that are crazy or not so crazy. This is the case of a NaVi Junior member that is known as M0nesy. Now, I talked about him earlier this week because at the ripe age of 12 years old, he was likely the youngest ever member to actually on the Faceit platform reach level 10, and now of course been signed to NaVi Junior. He is currently 14 years old and was called out, I believe actually late last week now, for gambling on stream. And you guys might ridicule me for bringing this topic to light, but as a 14-year-old up-and-coming prodigy / pro player for a NaVi program, it is the organization's job to oversee what he does do, and if he's doing things that are illegal, he should simply not be doing them. I don't need to show you guys very lengthy clips. I will show you some, though, of him not only promoting being sponsored by, but also gambling himself on his very own live stream. I'm not trying to call him out. I'm not trying to get him punished. I'm simply saying that not as Fins here should be watching over their younger athletes and their younger pro players and be telling them what they should and should not be doing inside, or actually when it comes to the public eye, and especially when it comes to a 14-year-old gambling. On top of that, being sponsored by a site, and actually many sites out there, I would say in his past, this current one being Force Drop GG. As you guys can see on screen, it's actually the sponsor of his stream, and he intermittently switches back out between playing CSGO and opening cases for the website. I presume it's a sponsor because it's obviously being promoted on his actual screen, and yeah, it's illegal. Not only by Russian standards, by the way, has a pretty heavy crackdown when it comes to gambling of any sorts, but also because he's just the ripe age of 14 years old. This should not be a thing no matter what the country is, and I'll leave it at that. I hope NaVi does something about it. I would hate to have him get in trouble for this, and I don't want to be the one to do this. You guys can understand where it's tough. And it definitely drives the debate because I am not an innocent man myself. When I first entered the CSGO scene, I too was sponsored by many of these sites. Ever since then, I have not been, but when I was of the legal age to do so. But again, it still drives the debate of anyone out there who promotes gambling. Is that fair because you promote it to also a very young audience? It drives a lot of debates out there. I would say the bottom line points out here is he is underage. He should not be gambling. Also, should not be allowed to be sponsored by a gambling site out there or promoted himself because he's just 14 years old. Now, he is not the only one we see inside the CSGO scene. He is one of the very few, if not the only, though, when it comes to being a CSGO pro player at the age of 14 years old. This should not be allowed inside the organization. I hope they just simply put their hand in and say, hey, M0nesy, don't do this anymore. I will keep you guys posted on top of that. Anyway, some happier stories out there as well. I can now confirm, again, thanks to a viewer, all the viewers who actually send me stories. I greatly do appreciate that. This one, talking about the crazy story, brought to us by Nell a couple days ago. It's actually Contact Gaming, the same parent company who owns Paris Eternal for Overwatch League and the Paris Legion for Call of Duty League, apparently are purchasing the crazy roster for supposedly $1.5 to $2 million. Now, you might be laughing at home, but either way, super happy for the lineup, and of course, Neil Murphy, their coach, and their second coach, who is actually a part of their roster, who plays as well. Yeah, they were bought for $1.5 to $2 million, and they still have a coach on their active roster. Either way, with that being said, guys, I'm super excited for them, and also excited to announce that Antonio, the CEO and owner of Crazy, after selling this roster, he will not be leaving CSGO. I did talk about this a few days ago. I speculated, I actually suggested, or even I really did think he would be leaving CSGO given his struggles in terms of making a profit. He has now successfully built up, I guess you could say, two kind of separate rosters, selling off two players, and of course, including Hunter for hopefully a pretty penny to G2 not too long ago, then builds up the second roster and sells the entire team. I thought given his hopefully nice chunk of change he made off the sport, he would be leaving. It seems to be turning that profit back into another team out there, supposedly under the Crazy name. So for all of you guys who are Crazy fans, they are not done in CSGO yet. I am very curious to see who he will sign next, and if he'll continue to actually build up lineups that are potentially top 20 teams out there. And also, very lastly, for all of you guys, congratulations, my boy DavidP. If you guys were here amongst the controversy of that Mountain Dew League spot, it was actually DavidP alongside David Duvek who were kicked from that old Heretics roster. But although that is the case, DavidP actually ran the ESEA roster who had the Mountain Dew League spot. Since Heretics could not field a far majority of the previous roster who played the previous season, the spot still goes to, for upcoming Mountain Dew League season, DavidP and his brand new team on screen for all of you guys, taken alongside Davo, David, of course, Tabs, and Bima, who, by the way, I've heard some rumors about. For anyone, and again, I probably mispronounced his name, whether it is Bima or Bima, I've actually heard some roster rumors out there about potentially him going elsewhere. Either way, for upcoming season, apparently as of right now, that will be their roster going forward, and that Mountain Dew League spot will stick it out with DavidP. No clue what Heretics will do without that spot, as it is actually valued around 5 figures. It's a pretty decent spot to hold for a roster out there, and DavidP and his continued roster going into Mountain Dew League season will be looking for an organization. Until next time, I hope you guys all enjoy breaking down CSGO news, other news here every single day, all day long. If you guys are underage, please don't gamble. I hate what I had to do today. I suck.